It's ironic, eh? They think it's some sort of conspiracy that some unforeseen scammers are holding up the price of Bitcoin just before this thing's going to collapse to zero. Yeah, I mean, it's that time in the cycle really that the accumulation does come in, right? Like people buy, they put a floor on the price, the volatility drops, and we saw that in, when was it? Was it 2018? 2018 bottom, 2015 bottom. We even saw it in the 2012 bottom. So yeah, sure. People are holding the price up. That's because they want Bitcoin. It's being absorbed.
Negative news flow continues to make headlines, but Bitcoin's recent move above $17,000 suggests investors are finding reasons to be bullish. Popular Bitcoin and crypto on-chain analyst Willy Woo predicted that the bottom of the current Bitcoin bear market is close, given the share of the Bitcoin supply that is considered underwater. Using his so-called Max Pain model, Wu said on Twitter this weekend that a macro cycle bottom for Bitcoin historically has been seen when 58% to 61% of the Bitcoin supply is underwater or held by investors sitting on an unrealized loss. Judging from Wu's model, that level is now getting close. Asked by a commenter where exactly the model predicts the bottom to be, Wu admitted that the price could still fall further, saying the upper part of the shaded area of his model is at $13,000 and rising quickly. In a new interview with Scott Melker, Wu says that buyers have recently stepped in to support Bitcoin, lowering its volatility and putting it in a sideways trend. Wu says Bitcoin is showing resilience in the face of market headwinds, including crypto lending firm BlockFi's recent bankruptcy filing. Willy Woo has been visibly absent from the crypto space for some months now, though he tends to tweet occasionally. In this new interview, he shared his analysis of his Bitcoin chart and what he believes is the next direction for the king crypto assets. This is one interview you should watch till the very end to get his full detailed analysis. Before we listen to Willy Woo, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to the channel if you are yet to do so. Thanks for your support and for watching our videos. We appreciate you so much.
Like, what was really interesting with the BlockFi bankruptcy, we saw a sort of pullback. It wicked down beforehand. I kind of think that was sort of inside sellers knowing that that announcement would happen. It wicked down, what is it? $500, something like that, and got quickly absorbed. And then now we're breaking to the upside. So I think we've got a lot of buyers at this price. Certainly the indicators I have are showing, when you see a lot of coins moving and the price going sideways, that's a sure sign of accumulation. And so that's been happening. I'm tracking it. That's the reason why it's going sideways. The indicators had bottomed. Particularly one I was looking at was really supply that's underwater. Every single cycle, there's a trend line that's, it trends downwards, and when that trend line breaks to the upside, it's always happened in the middle of an accumulation zone, and it broke in that sideways before the FTX sort of debacle. And so actually that's my view, is that we were setting up for a decent accumulation phase. We're building that multiple month accumulation bottom, and then wham, we had another round of deleveraging, but accumulation is still happening. So yeah, I agree. I think that we would be in the highish, not the highish, but let's say between the
23 to 24, 25, somewhere in there. I think.
Yeah, I think we're setting up for like 18 to 24 sort of sideways band for a few more months. And then we had the deleveraging happen. So we're now continuing that in the 16 to 18 band now. But yeah, I agree. So actually, there's this sort of pencil sketch chart that I've posted a few times. This is actually a complete profile of the density. You can think of this as like a volume profile for the traders out there. We get dense lines. That's where a lot of coins have last traded at that value, right? So it's kind of like a volume profile, but it's a profile of how many coins traded at that price out of the whole Bitcoin supply. And I cropped it off at down to here, which is like there's another 28% of the coins that traded below that price here. So effectively, I'm looking at there's a particular contour that hits all of these price bottoms, right? And that's the contour of how much of the supply is underwater. Obviously, if you buy here, as the price goes under, you're part of the losing squad until it hits a point where it doesn't go any further. That's your max pain. And this is a charting as we go through 100% of people in profit at the 70,000 top, and as the price starts trading down, we cut through all these contours, and now we're currently at about 45% of the supply is underwater. And actually, what I was saying is you can draw this trend line. Actually, I can't draw on this chart, but you can draw a trend line here. And when you get this sort of change in movement where the supply starts to climb and not experience so much pain, that's usually happens in this accumulation belt, right in that zone there. So it's before the breakout, and it's been reliable with past cycles here. And you get the breakout. I think if you draw it to here, that's the breakout. It's the middle of the accumulation zone. And actually, we were forming a really nice trend line here. I remember monitoring this at this point. It hit at this point, it hit there, and then it snuck out. And it stuck out right at that zone here, and it was ready to start to, put in a floor. And then we had the unwind from FTX. So this now looks like a bump and run pattern where we break out of the trend, and then we're now retesting the trend line. In my opinion, that this will test well and go upwards. So what I've done here is actually now also account for the Grayscale coins, which is, I think it's about 3-4% of the Bitcoin supply, maybe even more, 4.5%.
Yeah.
Something crazy, 630,000 Bitcoin in there. Yeah. And then if you look at what's happening inside there, roughly 60%, assuming 60% of the coins are underwater. I did a survey, and you kind of can account for what's happening in that black box, which won't be shown on chain. The green sort of corrects for that. And so that is currently today at $13,000 and climbing quite quickly. You can, if we zoom in to this zone here, you can see that that's climbing up quite quickly. So we're getting quite close to a touch. It doesn't have to touch every time. We didn't touch there.
Willy Woo also spoke on potential Bitcoin bottom and what his charts are showing to predict that. As far as what price Bitcoin could potentially bottom out, the analyst has his eye on somewhere between $14,000 and $10,000, which he previously revealed as part of a max pain model last week. $12,000 wouldn't shock me. $10,000 I think everyone's wanting, and so it usually doesn't happen what everyone wants. So $12,000 wouldn't shock me. $12,000, $13,000. It may run away from here, or it may drop even further. These are very broad-stroked indicators. But it's probably not a bad time to dollar cost average, and he said. Let's listen to Willy Woo analysis on potential Bitcoin bottom for this cycle.
It's not only we're in the bottom, but in this bear market, they're starting to agree with each other. Whereas the prior market, there was a little bit of discrepancy in different dimensions that you're looking at. So the broadness of this area was wider, but they're very much coalescing into very, very much agreeing. There's a little bit more uncertainty since we're bottoming. It's widening out, but mostly we're in a bottom zone. I mean, something seriously bad would have to happen, I think, for us to, break this down a lot further and have, we haven't done this. I guess ever in Bitcoin's history. We dipped as low as here in the early days, but you can also see from these metrics, they were pretty wild. They're pretty
2011,
yeah. Right? 2010, 2000, it was completely different industry back then, and it was very wild moves, and the metrics the needles were spinning everywhere, right? And then we sort of capture it. The way this works is it's a 4-year metric on standard deviation. So we haven't even coalesced 4 years of backtrace here for it to normalize. So here, around here, it starts to become normalized, right? So like from here, it's very, very reliable. I mean, that's my view of it. Actually, well, it's not my view. It's these are metrics put by all of us, really.
U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell wasn't exactly dovish in his speech Wednesday, but his suggestion that the Fed could live with a more moderate interest rate hike at its mid-December meeting sent cryptocurrency prices, not to mention other assets, higher. Bitcoin was recently trading over $17,150, up 1.4% over the past 24 hours, and its third consecutive day of gains. The largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization had started surging on Monday amid investor hopefulness that Powell and other Fed officials have found reassurance in economic indicators showing inflation and the threat of a harsh recession waning. Bitcoin sank below $15,500 2 weeks ago as markets chewed on Genesis Global Capital's decision to halt withdrawals, part of the fallout from crypto exchange giant FTX implosion. What do you make of Willy Woo interview? Please let us know your reaction in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.